Your savings account is a crime scene. And you are the victim. Right now, as you watch this, money is being quietly drained from your purchasing power. Not through a hack. Not through a scam. Through something far more sophisticated, a system that was designed this way. Here's the brutal truth: if you had $100,000 in savings in 2020, that money today has the purchasing power of roughly $60,000 to $65,000. You didn't spend it. You didn't lose it in the market. You just held it, like responsible people are taught to do. And someone else got richer because of it. Today I'm going to show you exactly how this works, who benefits, and what you need to understand to stop being the one footing the bill. Section 1. You feel poorer because you are. Let me ask you something. Does it feel like your paycheck is going further, or that it's running out faster? Most people say faster. And here's the thing, they're right. Wages have technically gone up over the last few years. The government will tell you that. But what they bury in the fine print is this: real purchasing power has collapsed. A basic grocery run that cost you $150 in 2019 now costs you $230 to $260 in most cities. Rent in major metros has doubled. A used car now costs what a new car cost 5 years ago. But turn on the news and they'll quote you an inflation number of 3%, maybe 4%. And you're sitting there thinking, that does not match my life. That's because it doesn't. The way inflation is officially measured, something called the Consumer Price Index, has been quietly revised over the decades to underreport what you actually feel. Economists like John Williams at Shadow Government Statistics have tracked what inflation would look like under the original 1980s formula. The number? Closer to 10 to 12% annually in recent peak years. This isn't conspiracy theory. This is mathematics. And it has a name. It's called currency debasement. Section 2. What is currency debasement? Currency debasement is what happens when more money is created, without more value being created to back it up. Think of it like this. Imagine there are 10 slices of pizza and $10 in the world. Each slice is worth $1. Now someone prints 10 more dollars, but there's still only 10 slices of pizza. Now each dollar only buys half a slice. Your money didn't go anywhere. It just became worth less because there's more of it competing for the same stuff. Between 2020 and 2022 alone, the Federal Reserve expanded the U.S. money supply by roughly 40%. That is an extraordinary number. In 2 years, nearly 40% of all dollars in existence were newly printed. And where did those dollars go first? Not to your bank account. They went to banks. To financial institutions. To the people closest to the money printer, and they got to spend it before the inflation hit. Before prices adjusted. By the time that new money trickled down to wages, prices had already moved. You got the raise. But the steak already cost more. This mechanism is called the Cantillon effect, named after 18th century economist Richard Cantillon, who noticed that whoever receives new money first benefits the most. Everyone downstream loses a little ground. The banks are first in line. You are last. Section 3. The Fractional Reserve Multiplier. Now here's where it gets even more interesting, and more infuriating. Banks don't just receive newly created money. They multiply it. Here's how fractional reserve banking works. When you deposit $1,000 into a bank, the bank is only required to keep a fraction of that on hand. Let's say 10%. They can lend out $900 to someone else. That $900 gets deposited into another bank, which keeps 10% and lends out $810. Which gets deposited, and on it goes. Your original $1,000 deposit eventually becomes $9,000 to $10,000 in circulating loans throughout the economy. The bank didn't create any real value. They just manufactured money from your money. And they charge interest on every single layer of it. Meanwhile, in 2020, the Fed actually dropped the reserve requirement to zero for many institutions. Zero. Meaning theoretically, banks could lend out infinite multiples of deposits. This is the system. It's not broken. It's working exactly as designed, just not for you. Section 4. So what do you do? Now I want to be clear, this video isn't about panic. It's about understanding your position so you can make better decisions. Here's the core insight: holding cash long term is a guaranteed slow loss. The question is not if your purchasing power erodes, it's how fast, and whether you're doing anything about it. Historically, the assets that have held up best against currency debasement fall into a few categories. 1. Hard assets. Real estate, commodities, precious metals. Things with physical scarcity that can't be printed. Gold has held purchasing power for over 5,000 years not because it's pretty, but because no central bank can create more of it at will. 2. Equity in productive businesses. Owning shares in companies that produce real goods and services means your wealth grows with the economy, not against it. The S&P 500, despite crashes, has historically outpaced inflation over long time horizons. 3. Fixed-rate debt, if used wisely. This one surprises people. In an inflationary environment, borrowing at a fixed rate can actually work in your favor. You repay in future dollars that are worth less than the ones you borrowed. Banks know this. Now you do too. 4. Bitcoin and scarce digital assets. Controversial? Yes. But the fixed supply of 21 million Bitcoin is a direct mathematical response to unlimited fiat printing. Whether you believe in it or not, understanding why people hold it is important. The point isn't to tell you exactly what to buy. The point is this: do not sit in cash while inflation runs at 4, 6, 8% a year and call it financial safety. That is not safety. That is a slow bleed with paperwork. The invisible tax is real. Currency debasement is not a theory, it's a mechanism. And the people running the system understand it better than most of us were ever taught. But here's what I want you to walk away with today. The first step to protecting your purchasing power is simply understanding that it's under attack. You're not bad with money. The system isn't designed to make you wealthy by default. It's designed to transfer wealth from people who hold currency to people who hold assets. Now you know that. So act accordingly. If this video changed the way you think about money, share it with one person who needs to hear it. Most people will never understand the Cantillon effect. You just did. Subscribe if you want to keep going deeper. Next video, we're looking at the specific strategies the top 1% use to legally exploit inflationary environments, and how regular people can use the same playbook. Drop a comment below. What's one thing you're doing right now to protect your purchasing power? I read every single one. See you in the next one.